assured the bliss for which all forms were made. This is a tremendous thing. The form is actually meant for beauty, for bliss. Form is meant for beauty, for bliss. Where there is perfect form, you automatically have, along with it, bliss. Perfect form means perfect bliss also. Beauty. The good together, they cannot be separated. Perfect form. Assured the bliss for which all forms were made. Who has made all forms? Who has assured bliss for forms? In the Vedic tradition, it is Agni who is the builder of forms. He is the builder of forms. Agni is the builder of forms. And when Agni is working for that form, it is his bliss which he is pouring into it, into that form. Agni. Agni pours his bliss into that form, you see. The work of Agni means form and beauty, essentially. Assured the bliss. So that is why there is the assurance. When Agni is doing that thing, there is the assurance. Unmoved by fear and grief and the shocks of pain, and unalarmed by the breath of fleeting time, and unseen by adverse circumstance, it breathed in a sweet, secure, unguarded ease, free from our body's frailty, inviting death. So, actually, who invites death in our body? Is the frailty of the body. The cause of death, in our case, is the frailty of the body. Why frailty of the body? Because the body cannot hold the bliss. It is not assured of the form. Therefore, it is frail. And when that frailty is there, naturally it invites death. Far from the danger zone of stumbling will. The body is far away from the will. Zone of stumbling will. Danger of zone of stumbling will. It needed not to curb its passionate beat. Again that heart beat, passionate beat. Thrilled with the clasp of the warm, satisfied sense. It needed not to curb its passionate beat. Well, so it can allow its passion to run freely without any harm being encountered. Thrilled with the clasp of the warm, satisfied sense and a swift wonder rush and flame and cry. See, the poetry is different altogether. It's very sweet, very warm. And a swift wonder rush and flame and cry, or the life impulses red magnificent rays. Life impulses red magnificent rays. So impulses are racing to get more and more joy constantly. Constantly. Life impulses red magnificent rays. Dynamic, active, physically, red means that. It lived in a dual rhythm of the laughter of God and lay on the breast of universal love. It lived in a dual rhythm, the dual sever rhythm. See, well, basically what it means is that, in earlier days when we had these mechanical clock watches, we used to have 15 jewels, 17 jewels, 19 jewels, and in those jewels the clock was rhythmically moving, you see, so that nothing gets burned out or out, you see, dual rhythm. Nowadays you don't need that, you see. So the Swiss people really made wonderful clocks in those days, clocks and watches also, small little watches with gems. The idea of the jewel is that they don't get worn out. So the rhythm is maintained, the time is maintained, you see. It lived a dual rhythm of the laughter of God and lay on the breast of universal love. Immune the unfettered spirit of delight, immune Nothing will touch it, nothing will spoil it. Unfettered, nothing will clamp it. The spirit of delight, pastured in gleaming sunherds and moon flocks. Along the lake speed of grief stream. So you have got streams which are grief lakes. Around those, on the banks of the stream, are pastures, and those pastures you see sunherds and moonflocks. Sunherds and moonflocks. In fragrance of the unearthly asphodel. Those pastures in fragrance of the unearthly asphodel. Well, that is the plain meaning of this one. But this is a very intricate kind of a presentation. Immune the unfettered spirit of delight. Spirit of delight. See, the romantic poets, Shelley and Keats, they talk of immortal bird, spirit of delight, immortal bird. Keats speaks of immortal bird. Shelley speaks of bird of bliss, happiness. And then skylark and nightingale. Nightingale, Keats' nightingale is immortal bird. Shelley's skylark is sprite, elfin, heavenly bird. Are you a spirit or a heavenly bird? He says. Spirit of delight. Sprite means heaven, elfin, angelic. But this phrase, spirit of delight, is directly taken from Shelley's poem, Really, really thou livest, his poem. Really, really thou comest, spirit of delight. You can see that? He is talking of a spirit delight, he comes very rarely for him. Actually, Shelley was an exceptional poet, very exceptional poet. And in one of his poems he says, on the thorns of life I fall, I bleed. On the thorns of life I fall, I bleed. And then he is praying for the spirit of delight to come and down him. He was one who was really bleeding by falling on the thorns of life. Sri Aurobindo, in one of his letters to Amal Kiran, tells that Shelley was not an evolutionary being. He was an involutionary being. He was an involutionary being. So naturally that involutionary being, when he comes to this mortal world, he feels that he has fallen on the thorns of life. He feels that he has fallen on the thorns of life. He is coming from the immortal world, from the involutionary world. He has come to this mortal world and he is fallen on the thorns of life. And when he is in this mortal world, then he says, Really, really thou comest, O spirit of delight. O spirit of delight. That is what he says. And then the whole poem goes on, you see. In fact, he uses this word, phrase twice. I love all that thou lovest. The spirit of delight. The fresh earth is new leaves address, and the starry night, autumn evening, and the morn, when the golden mists are born. What a beautiful line, see. I love snow and all the forms of the radiant fold. See, this is what he has come to write something very specific as an evolutionary being. He has come here. This is not a person who has grown through the process of evolution like Keats. She speaks of that, you see. In fact, The mother says that the Rigvedic rishis, the rishis of the Rigveda, they were evolutionary beings and they had brought that knowledge directly with them. That is why the Vedas are absolutely full of truth and beauty and joy. They had come. See, it is at that early stage of human history to get a poetry like Rigveda. It doesn't happen like that. Things have not evolved. The human consciousness has not evolved to come to that level of utterance, of that expression. You see. So, special beings had descended upon earth and they gave us that poetry. That is the beauty of Rigveda. That is why it is always so powerful, so beautiful. They had come here, taken birth. So, spirit of delight is what we are seeing here.
Shelley was one of them.
Shelley.
Shelley was one of them.
Pardon?
Shelley was one of them.
Yes, he was an evolutionary being. Shivandu has written specifically later that he was an evolutionary being who had come here to open out certain doors of poetry.
So can we say he is a Vibhuti?
No, Vibhuti is different. No, he is not Vibhuti. He is not Vibhuti. Vibhuti is not necessarily an evolutionary being. In fact, it is evolutionary being, Vibhuti.
Evolutionary being means helping.
As we have come. As we have come from it. See, for instance, a certain God, a certain being from the higher world, for a certain purpose, he takes birth here. He has not evolved from here, but he feels that a certain kind of a job must be done, and he comes here and takes birth. He takes birth here. Actually, my feeling is, you must have heard of the great Indian freedom fighter, Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Tilak, you see. He was in fact associated with Shebendo. The Surat Conference, Surat Congress, they were on the same dais. Lokmanya Tilak, he is called Lokmanya Tilak, and Bala Gangadhar is his name. And Shebendo, they came together, you see. Now, it seems that Shebendo calls him as some Kamadeva who had taken birth. See the kind of the spirit he had, the power with which he worked, the kind of a revolutionary output which has come out of his work, completely transformed the political scene of the country. He had taken that birth specifically for that purpose. It seems that a special being had come here for a certain purpose, you see. For a certain purpose, you see. They had taken birth for that purpose. So Tilak really does not belong to our common mankind. He has come somebody like that to. In fact, many of the freedom fighters of that decade, 1900 to 1910, those 10 years when Savitri was engaged, they were exceptional beings who had taken special birth to promote not for India's freedom, but the necessity of India's freedom for the evolutionary growth. The important point was not India's freedom, but India's freedom is a necessity that the evolution can move forward. So they had taken special birth in those days, you see, and you could see the difference between the kind of a work they had done in those 10 years and what happened afterwards. You see. So Shelley was really an evolutionary being who had come to kind of do something in poetry and take it forward, and that is what we have got here in this poem. Spirit of delight, and she will use it purposely. So he is one who is coming from that plane. He is coming from that plane. How the paradise is like God, you see, to do certain work. Shelley, you see.
Karma Deva.
Karma, Karma Ram.
You said Karma Deva.
No, Karma Deva. Karma Deva. Tilak Karma Deva. Yeah. Karma Deva.
The, this being has no psychic being.
No, no psychic being natural.
They come directly.
Directly. Directly. See, like that, I mean, there must be many like that, many like that. They come for a specific purpose, they do the work, and then go away. Right. Karma Deva. And the kind of prodigious work he had done in those few years, you see, tremendous. Immune and fettered spirit to delight, pastured, his gleaming sun God. He is of that laughter of God, rhythm, laughter of God, and lay your love. Gleaming sun herds, the herd of light, Helios of Greek mythology. In Odyssey, you have got sun herds with horns of gold, with horns of gold. In fact, the dhenu, the cow, or the regular rishis, cow means gold, gold means light. It has the horns of gold, horns of gold. So it is for those cows, the sun herds of cow and moon flocks. Now, sun herd is in a certain sense common because it comes from the herds of Helios, from Homer's poetry, herds of Helios. Moon flocks, this is new. This you will find only in Savitri, moon flocks. Moon flocks, the flocks of joy, of happiness, of ecstasy. Moon, Soma, Ananda. Ananda. So actually the word Soma in Sanskrit is moon. And Soma is also the elixir of delight. Soma rasa. The God drink the Soma rasa, moon flocks. So gleaming sunhouse and moon flocks along the lyric speed of griefless stream. So these streams are lyrically moving, chanting the song of joy, chanting the song of joy constantly. Griefless stream in fragrances of the unearthly asphodel. Asphodel, a bunch of flowers of various colors. Asphodel, flowers. Thick flowers are there. And there are 2 or 3 types of color, white, lavender color, bluish, lavender. And they are extremely fragrant. Asphodel. Actually, this word asphodel is also related to the flowers which are present in the Hades, in the underworld, asphodel. And very often at the grave, you have the asphodel flowers, so that you are carrying the fragrance with you always throughout this asphodel. Let me see what I have got here. Asphodel, immortal flower in Elysian land, in the Isle of the Blessed. In the Isle of the Blessed. Of the lily family, white, pink, yellow, their colors. And they grow in elongated clusters. Really, some of the pictures are very beautiful, asphodels, elongated clusters. Very fragrant also, you see. In Greek mythology, peculiar plant of the dead, set to cover Elysian fields. Those who live in the Elysian field, the land of the blessed, the island of the blessed, those who live there, you got asphodels. Now, Persephone, who was there in Hades, was crowned with a garland of asphodels. Garland of asphodels, Persephone. Milton, in his Paradise Lost, has a line to embed, to take bath, to embed in nectar lavers strewn with asphodel. Embed nectar lavers. You are washing yourself with nectar constantly. Strewed with asphodel. That water is washed constantly with asphodel. What a complex sentence you see. To embed in nectar lavers strewed with asphodel. Very fragrant flower, very beautiful flower, flower of immortality in a way, you see. Jate donne me bouquet de asphodel. Correct? Jate donne me bouquet d'asphodel by Marie Lafour. Marie Lafour. That is her poem. That is her composition. I am giving you my bouquet of asphodel. I am giving you jate donne me bouquet d'asphodel. I am giving you. I give you my bouquet of asphodel. Fragrance, beautiful. So that is what I got here. In fragrance, so they are the asphodel. So our asphodels, well, we will not condemn them, but they are also good, our asphodels. They are very fragrant, pink, yellow, white asphodels.